So as most of you probably know by now, the Leatherman Arc is a fantastic tool, but the one major issue was the cutters. So as it came with the cutters, the original cutters had a little gap at the bottom that looks something like that, even when you closed the pliers completely. Now, what I've done is I've replaced these with AliExpress cutters, so you no longer have the gap. This is the older style, a copy of the older style Leatherman cutters, and they were much better in my opinion. But my original ones came with a little gap like that in the bottom. And it's not just with a Leatherman Arc. Many people have pointed that out, and you're correct. So you can, I expect these new Leatherman cutters on pretty much every tool that has replaceable wire cutters, so keep that in mind. And what I found on my particular one was that it broke when I cut coat hanger wire about 4 or so times in. So you have a tendency to, with that little rounded edge, for the coat hanger to sort of get stuck in the bottom and then it to snag and break the bottom of your wire cutters. Whereas with these being straight down, they don't do that. They don't get stuck. So anyway, again, very unfortunate because a Leatherman Arc is such a great tool and it's pretty much the perfect tool set for most people, but the cutters were a huge, huge issue. I talked about that with a goat multi-tool that's still not fixed, and now we are talking about that with the Arc, and that's still not fixed either, unfortunately. So what I did was I went ahead and I decided to see if I could find some old stock of the replaceable wire cutters and perhaps refer you guys to that. Maybe that would be an easy solution. So I went ahead and I bought off Smoky Mountain Knife Works, I believe it is. And they went ahead and they sent me these Leatherman cutters. And when I got them out of the box, I was very disappointed because again, you have that rounded edge at the bottom instead of it coming squaring at the bottom. So that's exactly the same issue. Again, these are the same cutters that came with it originally that broke. So I was very disappointed and I realized, well, that's probably not a solution. So again, I did for mine. I went to AliExpress, and it's pretty embarrassing when you have to go to AliExpress to fix your Leatherman, but that's what I had to do to get parts, unless I wanted to rob off something like my original or this older titanium charge. Now this one doesn't, I don't think, yeah, it doesn't have that gap at the bottom. These are the older style wire cutters right here. So it was made in 2020. So I went ahead off AliExpress. These were about $17 or so. They're sort of fake Damascus, put them on, and they actually do cut hard wire as well. So I went ahead and I messaged Leatherman. I thought other people have done that. Why not go ahead and send them an email? I said, you know, my Arc has issues. The wire cutters have failed. So they said, thanks for sharing your experience with your Leatherman Arc tool. We were recently made aware that a limited number of Arc users, limited, have noted their replaceable wire cutters don't meet their performance expectations. No kidding. When your wire cutters break, yeah, I don't think that meets performance expectations. Our engineering team immediately tested our current inventory to diagnose the cause. So anyway, that's what they say happened. Through our tests, we found that some lots of replaceable wire cutters on the Arc did not meet expectations. And then they say, please provide information. They'll send you a new set. So I went ahead and did that. And I got this. I got another set of the same cutters that failed me the first time. So very disappointed with that. Leatherman just resent me essentially the same cutters. Now, I guess in all fairness, I haven't tested these on coat hanger wire, but I don't like this design. This is the design that failed before, and perhaps these won't break, but even if they won't break, the hard wire still has a tendency to get caught in the bottom. And I think that's part of the issue, as many of you have noted, with the previous, that's why these right here fail, is because it makes that little gap and then the wire gets caught. So these are going to create the same issue. Maybe they won't break, but they still won't work as well. So I was just very frustrated, I guess you could say. Maybe that's a nice word to say. Very frustrated that here we have a $200 tool. Leatherman has the answer. They simply need to remake the wire cutters they used to make, but instead, for a fix, they're sending out the same wire cutters that broke before. So maybe the heat hardness is better. Maybe, I guess, to give them the benefit of the doubt, perhaps it is. But I really don't want to put this back on there. I actually prefer rather to have these Chinese-made cutters. I actually trust them more than these American-made ones, if these are made in America. So anyway, very frustrated with that. So I guess it teaches you one of two things. So some people have begun guessing, why is Leatherman why did they change this? Why they used to advertise their wire cutters were, 154 cm, something like that, a certain metal hardness. And now I think they just say they're hard wire cutters. So why the change? So some people thought maybe the handle or the pliers are breaking too much and they think people are using it above what they should. But, that's a little frustrating too. If Leatherman is designing this so you can't cut hardwire like you used to, I mean, if that's the case, then just buy one of these for hardwire cutters. Just buy a Byberry or Day of Camping. It sort of makes you lose faith a little bit in Leatherman tools if that's the case. Probably in the end, it's just a cost-saving measure, but it is very frustrating. So I guess we'll have to see in the future what happens. But as of now, I was not satisfied by what happened. And I just want to let you guys know that even if you try to get replacement parts, you probably have about a 50% chance of getting just the same ones that broke before. So it's just an update. We'll see what happens in the coming year, what Leatherman does. But as of now, rather a frustrating outcome. And it's unfortunate that they're destroying to some extent a really good multi-tool.